Hello.
Hello. We are live.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just looking. So we're like,
Okay.
is everything looking right here?
Yeah, the screen's a little different than it used to be.
Yeah, what's going on?
For us. Hi, I'm Ashley.
I'm Gus.
That's Gus, who's fiddling with cameras and things.
I think we're good.
Woo! Welcome.
Hi, welcome to the Gus and Ashley Show.
Yay!
Couplepreneurs tonight.
All right, I'm going to start knocking shit over
And
here.
tonight we're going to talk about
Sorry.
juggling
Woo!
everything.
Yeah.
We have a lot going on. We sort of like do a candle and lit both ends and then threw it on the grill.
And then kind of set some gasoline
put some
on
gasoline
it too.
on it.
I mean, we're normally running at a pretty crazy pace, just the two of us in business and in life. I would say that our normal pace is probably a little faster than most people.
For most people.
And that's not a judgment. It's not like we're just...
We live in the Northeast, so we move fast if we're living in the Northeast. But
okay. Yeah, no, I mean, so we've got a lot going on to begin with. And then lately, though, literally, what you just said,
last 9 days,
I'm like, for what?
Have been insane.
So go ahead.
Ashley's son is graduating high school next week, a week from tonight.
I'm crying. I'm like bursting into tears every couple of minutes if I think about it.
That takes a little bit of action and stuff from us.
So So there are a bunch of like senior dinners and banquets and awards and stuff. Grandpa, my dad, is coming into town.
Yeah, family coming into town.
Monday night, Brad has a thing. My son. Tuesday's graduation, maybe, if it doesn't rain. If it does rain, it's getting switched to Wednesday. And then my dad leaves on Thursday.
And then Brett's going to college.
Oh, right.
In August. So
with a job in between there
somewhere.
Plus,
we have work. We have a conference coming up in less than 2 months. Two conferences coming up in less than 2 months. I forgot about that. We have speaker coordination. Awesome. Everything goes like that. We also expanded our business last year, and we have a new client that's putting a demand on our time in a different related business. It's an events business, but not in the utility business. It's under Conferences Connect.
This is part of the step into and grow how we want to grow into the direction we want to grow. It's just that we have like that. So then, do you want to talk about that?
So the house we live in is for sale. And we sort of orchestrated this move.
So we're renters now, and we plan to continue renting at our next place.
Right. So, but we decided to.
We offered
to move out early, so they could sell the house to a family, can bring children in here and start the school district off in September.
Because the school district here is really
a really good school district here. So,
however, doing that means we have to get all of our stuff organized. Sold, donated.
And we've also agreed to show the house for the landlord. So we have the house ready to show.
We have to work here anyway. Yeah.
So, and then we have to coordinate a move, and we're moving 1,000 miles away. We're moving to South Florida. We're currently in the Philadelphia area, United States, and then we're going to move to South Florida. So we have to find another place to move into. We have to coordinate.
We haven't figured out where we're going to live yet, so we need to
buyers. We have to coordinate a house estate sale that we're going to do. We have to coordinate donations to various organizations. We have to coordinate movers and all that other fun stuff that comes with a move. We also have 3 cars that one has to find a new home for that's not going to stay here. We're going to get rid of one of the cars.
Okay.
Anyway, how do we do all this?
Yes, and still like each other at the end of the night and still love each other.
We have a couple tools.
Yeah.
Number one,
your tools are better than mine.
But no, we have tools we use together. This is about us being together and how do we handle this.
You're right.
So every morning we have.
Can I just start with there are moments where I just will panic. If I'll think about what's going on and I'll just like this is hilarious, right? So the first thing I just want to say is we give each other the space to like flip out a little. Like Gus was really pissed off about something and he just was like losing his mind. And I'm like, okay, yeah. And I was like, at first, like, don't lose your mind. But that's like saying to somebody, relax when they're like upset about something, right?
Really well.
Works good.
Oh,
it doesn't work well for anybody. But it was
on top
just
of
like
everything else, I forgot.
I needed to give him the space to feel what he was feeling and not feel like I had to argue against it or explain it or
and then
whatever.
on top of everything else, I mean,
yeah.
This is just life.
What?
I had a death in the family, and we got to handle that. But that's a whole other like.
Yeah,
we didn't have time for this, but it's all good.
Well, no, I mean,
it's awesome.
It's like, you want to give everything the attention that it's due, right? You want to be present for all of this, but at the same token, you have so much going on. It's kind of insane. So again,
so what do we do? So we use a couple of things. We have a morning huddle just between Ashley and I. What's going on? What's the biggest, the big thing with the jar?
Sometimes Gus will remember things that I have in the pipeline that I forget about. Sometimes I have things in the pipeline that Gus has forgotten about that he needs to follow up on. So we kind of do a check with each other in that morning huddle.
And we might do that.
Go through like, hey, did you do this? Or hey, have you checked with such and so? And it's not like an ugly thing. It's just like hey, this is in my head and on my checklist. Is it also on yours?
Yeah, and also, what we do, what appointments are coming up.
Yes, we always start with what's in the calendar today.
What's low-hanging fruit?
Absolutely.
What needs to be done today?
Close? Who do we need to reach out to?
Sometimes we have a conversation. This happened yesterday. No, it's happened today. We have a conversation. It seems like forever. We had a conversation about a certain aspect of the business, and we say, we're going to talk about this at that time.
Right. So when we reach a point where we're going to maybe get into the weeds on something, or just, we don't have time to really give this conversation, this topic, the full attention that it needs. So we're going to just, but we'll schedule it right there. We'll just say, we're going to talk about this on Wednesday afternoon.
Right. So
that's one.
And then we might have come back from lunch and have another huddle. Hey, how did the morning go? Did we get everything done we had to do?
Right.
The question we ask, what's next?
Right.
What needs to be done? What can wait? What can go back?
Because it's really easy, especially for me, it's really easy to get distracted, right? The phone rings, you've got 100 emails in your inbox, somebody's direct messaging you on LinkedIn, somebody's asking for this, and it's just we might go
on like certain days. We might go back to back meetings, and someone calls us in between with a deal, and we have to put. It's
like, okay, we need to stop and put a proposal together.
Yeah, something like that.
And I don't know about you, but I'm like, if I say to someone, like, I'll have a phone call, or I had a couple of meetings today, and I'm like, I wrote down that I was going to email them, but I forgot what I was going to email them with. And it's like, okay, I need to stop, and I need to just get it done.
So we have that So we have that one thing with the meeting. We check in. That's the first. That's one of the first things we do.
That's the check-in meeting. Yeah.
Second thing we do. I'm better at this than Ashley is. I will toot my horn.
That's okay. There are things I'm better at.
Batch task.
Yes, you are way better.
If I have emails to do, I'll sit down and do all the emails at one time. If I have clients to call, I'll sit down and call all the clients at one time. And I'll put a list.
I am not as good at that because I worry that because I've tried that before, and when I did, I forgot to do the follow-up. So I try to just manage the follow-up immediately, and that way I know I've gotten it done.
Well, success.
And I can schedule, but you're right. Absolutely.
One of the keys to success is speed, though.
You're absolutely
showing up and speed.
I'm not saying it's not a good idea. I'm just saying.
No, but anyway,
anyway.
What else do we Another thing, this is pretty neat. We're talking about.
So we started with prioritize, which is really important. Yes, and then
play to each other's strengths and weaknesses.
Yes.
Meaning, so I am really good at. Ashley does the cleaning for the most part in the house, but when it requires
I do the day-to-day stuff,
but when it requires
the big project
a deep
stuff.
Clean, and I used to get paid to do this, so it's not like cleaning is not a big deal for me. But when it, but when it requires, like, we're getting the house ready for sale, the cleaning.
He's pulling out like the big ass brushes, and he's doing like the serious, like, he's pulling out equipment. I don't do that. I do the day to day, making sure everything's just kind of running and staying sanitized.
Yeah.
So thank goodness for that, because
so I do that. She does Ashley does our laundry in the house. Thank you so much. You do that. So I do the cooking.
Doesn't his shirt look great?
So if there's times like really part of this is we had this happen today. Do we go out and grab something for lunch, or do we eat something at home? And Ashley asked me, "What's easier on you?" And easier on me would have been going out, but me staying in, cooking really quick, allowed Ashley maybe another 15 minutes to get tasks done in the house.
Can handle, so run around and do stuff. And now, since we're planning to move a couple of months earlier than we had originally anticipated, the urgency and prioritization of getting stuff ready for that moment is, it's hastened a little bit. So we may have fewer times where we go out to lunch.
So we
go ahead.
So we can play to each other's strengths and weaknesses and know where to pick that up.
Absolutely,
how we are. Do that.
Yes, we're actually pretty good at that.
You're actually better at scheduling and contacting people and getting a hold of them.
Okay.
Like hey,
let's set up a time.
Yeah, when we have contractors coming and do work for us, you're much better at calling those people and arranging for them to come and. I'm better at delegating what needs to be done.
You are
when absolutely. They show up, this is what needs to be done.
I'll set up the time for you to be here, but then Gus has to take over and say this is what needs to be done in the house. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, so there's a type of thing like sharing these responsibilities back and forth.
Well, that's it. And on top of everything, like we need to, make sure we have food in the house. We have to make sure that my son has comings and goings.
Here's a power play I learned to do, and I learned this with one of my former business partners. When there's a complex proposal, and one of our clients was talking about today, she said that it took like 30 people. How long?
Right.
6 months or longer?
No, I don't think. Yes.
To come up with a 17-page proposal.
Right. And it needed to be concise. But that's part of working by committee.
But what you and I sometimes will do is we'll start a proposal, not sure how to go there, or start making a presentation. One of us gets started and put the bones in there.
And then the other one kind of fills in stuff.
Yeah, it fills in stuff and goes back and forth to each other.
Sometimes we'll do some mind mapping up on this here whiteboard where we can just kind of do stream of consciousness. And then from there, we've got the content we need to pull it together.
So another tool that we use.
Can I mention AI?
Oh, we use AI a lot, yeah. We use AI for so many things.
Sometimes when we're just like, okay, we know how this should look toward the end. But if we can get a little outline going or just some ideas through AI to help us kind of get to that. I use AI to put the talking points together for this. Well, how about
that? But I'm using AI for spreadsheet formulas from CSS and HTML. Besides hardcore marketing, another tool.
Especially when you're a little overwhelmed
who has heard of the Eisenhower matrix? Put this on the board real quick.
All right.
Urgent, not urgent, important, not important. Follow me? Okay. Can you see this?
We got a little bit of a glare.
Anyway, you have a
stand
square.
In front of it, you'll be able to see. Okay.
If it's urgent and important,
do it now.
Somebody gets hurt in your house and has to go to the emergency room. That's urgent and important. Brett's going to graduate school next week.
Yes, that's important.
On Tuesday, it's urgent.
And it's urgent. Yes, exactly.
Not important. Maybe
not urgent.
Not urgent.
Well,
but important. Might be renewing a driver's license. You got 60 days to do it.
You still got time to do it. It's not critical, but it's important. So
urgent.
Yeah. And what does that
urgent,
say?
But not important.
Schedule a time to do it. So for urgent and important, do it now. For not urgent but important, schedule a time to do it. And then
urgent but not important. That's somebody knocking on your front door, or the trash needs to be taken out. And
so this is a time where you ask yourself, why do I even need this? Or is this something that I actually have to pay attention to?
Or can I delegate this?
Right.
That's a delegatable task.
It is.
Right there.
You're right. And then that.
Not urgent, not important. Looking up a trip to Africa when you have no plans of going there.
That's called a waste of your time.
Yes.
So just eliminate it.
You have a business trip coming up, and maybe it's 6 months. It's important, not urgent. maybe that falls
Schedule
in
a
this
time.
category. And maybe if you're lucky, you can get it into this category and
delegate it. So
else.
It seems almost goofy, but when you have a lot of tasks at hand and you're maybe a little overwhelmed with all that's going on, using this is really helpful because
it looks like this. I keep a copy of this.
You can it's sometimes up on our other board, but you look at stuff. Just remind yourself, like, is this important? No. Okay,
why
then
don't I spend time with this?
But if it's important,
Here was one yesterday.
What happened? Ooh.
You did this, and I changed it for you. You were looking at houses in our neighborhood.
I was looking at houses
because our house,
the house we live in, just went on the market. So I got curious.
Like spending 20 minutes. I'm like, why are you looking for houses here? Why don't you look at houses where we're going to move in South Florida? She's like, that's a good idea.
So there was another hour on Zillow.
But that was good though.
It was a good hour. That was good research. I did my research. I have a better idea of what's worth what and where in the town that we're looking at, and what the amount of money that I'm planning to spend will get me. What will that buy me there? Yeah.
Well,
it was really helpful.
Are we missing anything?
Probably.
To-do lists are huge for us. We always have to-do lists.
I live and die by my to-do list.
I know a big tool.
Yeah, which one?
Goals. We have couple goals. We have individual goals. We have team goals. Sticking to those goals and looking at when you have a lot going on to just get us to where we want to be. Incidentally, moving to South Florida has been a goal of ours for 5 years, probably a little longer. Now we're able to condense time and bring that goal closer to reality quicker. It might
happen faster, yes, which is exciting. And it's also, it's all good. It's all good. But I would say, too, one of the things that you talked about, like I have individual goals, Gus has individual goals, and then we have goals together as a couple. And then we have goals together as a business. So I need to make sure, and Gus needs to be like, we need to hold ourselves accountable for making sure that we're doing what we need to do as individuals to achieve those goals for ourselves while keeping within the other goals that we have ourselves. Like I'll give you an example. I got on the scale yesterday morning and I was not happy with the number. I wasn't surprised by it. I was a little surprised by it.
Sounds like she needs a new scale.
So I know, right? But I just said, you know what? This is something that's important to me, and I can't blame him. I can't blame my situation. I need to just get down to it, be accountable, and say, these are the 3 things that I need to do to make sure that I'm doing this for myself because it's important to me. It's important to my health.
And if it's important to her, it's important to me. So I support her in whatever she wants to do with that.
I was just very specific about, okay, I need this from you. And
Ashley mentioned to me this morning she was very good and only had 1 glass of wine last night. I said I was even better. I didn't have any wine.
He drinks vodka. I decided that maybe if I chill it on the wine, I would actually lose some weight. We'll see, but I'm pretty sure. And I felt really good about myself last night. I had water instead until I had my 1 glass of wine with dinner, which was perfect. It's just that it usually turns into 3 or 4 or 5 small glasses of wine, and that's not helping me. Okay. So anyway,
we missed anything?
I'm just going to take a quick peek.
Big one. That's a big one.
This is the last one, and I just thought of how I actually did this, and I'm so bad at it. So sometimes the most important thing you can say when you're confronted with a task is no, or I'm sorry, I can't support you in that. So politely declining additional commitments when your schedule is already full.
We have.
Should I give my example?
Sure.
Okay, so my dear brother, whom I love, is planning to come in on Saturday, take my son to a baseball game. And he was kind of like, hey, can I spend the night?
You can.
And, and I'm going to call him back and tell him he can. I kind of said no, because I was worried that the room that all of the stuff is going in was what I was going to say. That's what I mean. But I'm going to let him know. Gus, oh my God. I'm turning into my mother. Greg, if you're watching, you can spend the night on Saturday night. But I kind of said no because I was so worried and so overwhelmed with all of the other things that we had going on. But now I realize we actually have the space and it'll be fine. So did you want to mention an example?
I know something that Ashley has Ashley's a very friendly person and she gets along with everybody. I do pretty much too. Ashley has a little trouble
I
sometimes.
have a tendency to say yes to things.
No. You get on the phone for a long period of time with someone and don't get to the point. And learning is not necessarily no, but saying yes to what you're trying to accomplish in that situation.
Right. And say it faster, though. I mean, is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Like get to the point faster on the
but
conversation.
Say no to that conversation. And you had the one conversation a couple of days ago, and I kind of said, listen, here's what's going on. We don't have time for this.
Yeah.
But subsequent, is that the right word? Subsequent conversations.
Right. I had a conversation today.
You controlled.
I was. And
it could have easily gotten out of control.
Like, you know what?
It could have easily gotten out of control.
I mean, and it starts with, hey, I have a hard stop at X time, and I need to, so we need to get through the pleasantries and get down to business faster. So
anyway,
and we did, and you did. And
look, we're still doing this. We could have said no to this.
No. We could have, but we want to be consistent.
But we want to let people know that we're consistent. We want to be there for them. And thank you so much for watching us.
Absolutely. So any other tips or things? We do have a ton going on. And the point is, life is fun when you have a ton going on, but you just need to put a couple things in place so that you can actually enjoy managing.
I use my inbox as one of my collection tools.
Is that for your tasks? So Gus will say to me when we're
driving and actually say, hey, can you
do that? He's like,
and I'll go like,
can you email me? Because I can't write it down right now because I'm driving.
I won't remember this.
It's the same when he's making dinner at night. As he'll be in the middle of making dinner, I'm like, oh, we should do this, and he'll just say, email me.
Email me.
And then I usually fight with my phone for a little bit, but then yes, I'll email him. I'll email myself. Like I can't take care of this right now, but I need to. It needs to be on my to-do list for tomorrow. So
I use Google and Google Client for my email, and Google has a schedule later, or you can postpone it email. So sometimes I do this with flights all the time. We book a flight, and it's not for 3 months from now. I'll have the email,
all the confirmation and
all that stuff. I'll have that forwarded till the week of the event, or the day before, or the day before the flight.
Right, because you don't need it until you need it, right?
Right. So that type of stuff, but. Other tasks and just sometimes there's just stuff I want to research and I'll forward it to a week from now or something like that.
Nice.
And then I'll batch those through. And sometimes it'll be like when you create these lists and you create, I do the mind dump every week of everything that's going on. And sometimes the biggest issues on that list correct themselves without my involvement.
Right. Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that came up for me when you just said that is I take notes when I'm on the phone with people or having conversations. Even when Gus and I are having a conversation, I'll take notes. And I try to definitely just review those at the end, do a quick summary like, okay, you said you were going to do this, this, and this. I said I was going to do this and this. So that at least when you get to the end, and then I try to get that done immediately if I can, because while it's still fresh in my mind, if I don't handle it right then, it may never happen, and then I forget, and I hate that. So anyway,
all right.
There's a thought.
We gotta roll. We
have to go to the grocery store.
Well, I'll probably do other things. Anyway, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks for joining us. Hope our tips
hit that
were helpful
subscribe
for
button.
you.
Follow us, like us.
Yeah, and let us know.
Stuff.
Do you have some tips that you do, like always, like consistent, and it always seems to work well, especially when things get a little hectic? What do you do? So put it in the comments, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for joining us. Bye.